Welcome to IST Presents. I'm Chippy Buenafe. Since the start of this year, the world was affected by the spread of the coronavirus, and businesses are not exempt. Supply chains are interrupted, workers are forced to work from home, businesses thrown into rethinking about their models. Everybody is bracing themselves for this so called new normal. So, how do IT entrepreneurs respond and thrive in such situations? Our guest for today is JP and Leigh de Guzman of Frost Design Group. JP is its founder and chief creative, while Leigh is the chief executive. Both are UA&P alumni of the BSIT program, and they are proud parents of four children. JP and Leigh, welcome to our show.
Hello,
Hi,
good
hi,
evening.
hi, Jimmy. Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
So, well, for the benefit of those tuned in, well, can you kindly say a few words about your company?
Okay.
JP, go ahead.
Frost Design is uh, it's a design company, but it does a lot more than just design. So if I'm going to summarize it in some way, it has four major pillars. One is consulting. We do consulting engagement to our clients. Another is production and development. We do design and development together with our consulting. Next is managed service. So there are cases that clients would need extra resources, so they'll get experts from us, and then we lend it to them to work on their premises. And then finally, service delivery. This is normally happen after we deliver the service, and then we need to support the needs of the client moving forward. So basically, it's a mix of IT and design, if I may put it, but we don't really want to define what we really want to do. So we keep on changing things as we go along.
Okay. So, as you both know, we are currently in this health crisis. So, how does your company cope with the crisis now?
Well, JP, when the news broke out, actually, I was out in the office that day when the ECQ will be announced that night. I got news from the grapevine that the lockdown will be announced that evening. So that day, I already messaged JP since I was out in the office. I asked him that if they will start the implementation of a lockdown, they really need have to go home with their families right away.
Okay.
I asked people who are living alone in their condominiums. I told them to go home to their families because uh, this is a health crisis that you should not be alone,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
especially during a quarantine period. And one of the things that uh, will affect you is not just your health but also your mental health as well. And
Oh, that's
if
true.
that's the case, you will need your family or support group with you uh, during this quarantine period, whether it may end on April 30 or it may extend after that. uh,
Okay.
After that, we usually don't work from home, GP.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually something that we just implemented during the quarantine. But
Okay.
what I like about our company is that one, it's small that we can easily implement changes in terms of the policy. So after the ECQ was announced, right after we implemented the work from home policies
Mm-hmm.
straight away. And the nice thing about it is that we are already digitizing most of our work, meaning that we do collaborative work with our clients, we do scrum meetings with them or daily alignments via conference call. We do most of our work are already in the cloud, and it's easy for us to say. And I'm also thinking that it's probably a divine providence that we are ready during that period of time that the ECQs has started. It's just a matter of implementing some policies to ensure that most of the team can collaborate together in a work setting, despite the fact that all of us are working from home. JP, you may add to anything what I have said
Yeah.
earlier.
Uh, well, we have we always have trust issues with working from home. This is one of the challenges with teams like us that consistent collaboration or even intimate collaboration with their teammate is necessary to achieve certain goals. It's hard to be honest because this is foreign to us. We are very adamant about this whole idea of people working from home. We never see them and we don't know if they're actually working or not. It's the paranoid in us maybe to trust people that they're actually doing the work. But as Leigh told earlier, we've already set up a lot of processes even from the start of how we design the organization to clock a lot of things that we do online. So we track everything that we do. We measure down to the time we spend a lot on things. All our activities are logged into a system that we've been running for almost 9 years or so. So those small preparation gives us a bit of a headway to see and to understand if we're actually going to hit our numbers. But there's still part of us that still needs to do some adjustments, especially in the side of communication. Yes, you have chat rooms, or we use Telegram every day.
Mm.
Even though we have those, even though we have Hangouts, Zoom, and all of this collaborative software, there's that gap between the virtual and the actual that you can never get through this kind of communication. That you can only compensate when you actually work together physically. The proximity is very important. So it's a bit of an adjustment for us. But again, it's the challenge of the time that we have to respond, or else we're going to lose people, or we're going to lose clients in the process. So that's one of the big changes that we have to settle in this whole ECQ scenario.
Okay, so
Yeah, Chibi, yeah, to add, it's not just during the ECQ, it's not just our employees that we have to check. It's also our customers because one is that we have to know is that what's also the impact of the ECQ and the COVID with regards to the clients that we are currently servicing. What will be the impact? If, are they stopping their operations during the ECQ, or if they are going skeletal work, or if they will be business as usual? Uh, those are the things that we really had to align immediately. So we had our employees, we had to check on each and every one that actually we had a discussion with our operations team that we had to consistently check each and every one of our employees to ensure that in terms of health they are okay, and in terms of stability, JP has shared to them a memo a week after the ECQ, ensuring that that ensuring the stability of the company in terms of the ability of the company to pay them full pays in the next 3 pay periods during the start of the ECQ. And to us, it is a big factor that we need to keep everyone stable. We need to ensure that they can still rely on us, not just on our organization, but also providers for the in the company, as well as to our clients as well in terms of how we service them.
okay.
And that's really important to address immediately as soon as the ECQ started.
Okay. I mean, you guys have mentioned so much detail as to how you've actually responded to the crisis. I mean, have you guys really prepared for such a crisis well beforehand, or was this something that you had to rely on common sense, or you had to consult some other people around it? Well, how had you guys been able to really ramp that up? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll start with how we tackled operations. Operations is one of the hardest challenge for organization like us, like we design. And in us, I don't know, when I was starting, I'm not really an operations guy. I don't really understand the mechanics of this. But it's really the appreciation of the discipline to make sure that we deliver consistently. And it's that continuous effort prior to ECQ that we're able to build routine amongst the team. And it's just really a matter of the displacement, that where we actually do the work, that change. But the routine, the methodology, and all the time that we invested in tweaking our process helps to make us somehow prepared. As someone from my team said, I think, sir, we've been preparing all this time for this kind of scenario. We didn't even plan it. Well, from my end, it's just a part of how we want to grow. But it's just the circumstances that really changed and tested the way we do things, that made us resilient with this kind of situation. And well, that's on my side for operation. For Leigh has a different problem altogether, because she's handling more on the organizational part of making sure that everything works and we still get collection, we still get people paid, and we tackle different areas of the business. And it's really just, I think we always say divine providence, that we've just had enough practice all this time
Okay.
to prepare us to this kind of shift.
That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, so you've mentioned things about trust issues with workers, having to work from home remotely. Can you also share with us right now what are the risks that entrepreneurs would expect to face in such a situation like the coronavirus crisis right now?
Well, I can start. Uh, well, risk will always be part of business. I guess in any circumstances, risk will always be there. Uh, but the funny thing about uh, that we have to always watch out is our ability to make sure that we stay afloat. Uh, this is one of the most challenging part, because if we don't do our part, and if we don't stay afloat in terms of the numbers that we need to measure, we're going to be in trouble. But I think they would have better understanding with this one. Like,
Cheapy, yes. Every day there's risks. Actually, what I have a PMO team right now, and what I've told them is that always plan for the worst case. And right now we are at the worst case. Uh, uh, because if they think that projects, businesses will always thrive on the positive side of things, then you won't be able to address issues quickly. What I like about our employees, the people who helped us, is they're also agile in terms of how they, if there are any issues that we encounter. For example, one of the issues that JP raised is mainly trust issues. And what JP has told the organization is that in order for us to work on this, and in order for us to thrive, is that we really have to hit the numbers. And it's not just us, but it's also an effort with our teams. It's an give and take effort. We won't be able to give them uh, confidence in terms of their pay periods if we won't be able to know if they're also hitting their numbers.
Okay.
And what I like about talking to our people is that we've been transparent to them as to where we are and where we stand in this situation. Though it may be difficult, because right now it's still for me, it's still a must that I see them face to face, because that's really a relationship that you can you can build on, and you can it's usually something that trust can be found on. Kasi pag walang face to face, it's really difficult if knowing if the people on the other side of the screen is doing well, because right now we're seeing them only on meetings, but the risk is that we don't know what's going on with their minds. The risk is that we don't know what's going on with their families. Are they what are currently running through their heads? Usually, we had our sessions in the office where people can easily talk, but right now we are limited with scheduling conference calls
Mhm.
every now and then. So just to have a check on how are they doing. But yeah, that's the organization side. There's also risk in terms of how our contracts are currently being done.
Mhm.
My challenge is that any organization or any client uh, can easily say that we will do force mature. And
Mhm.
when a client says that, you don't have any hindi mo wala kang wala kang magagawa because
Yeah.
if they stop operations, like for example a manufacturing plant that manufactures non-essential goods, stop operations agad yon, and ang
Yeah, that's
unang
true.
tatamaan din kami.
That's right. That's right.
So every day, so yun yung ano ko lang dito is that one of the things I always check is that one is can we thrive if the ECQ extends?
Mhm.
Actually, what I assure the team is that if the ECQ extends until end of May, I can assure them that they still have work.
Okay. Okay.
That's our employees. And then for your clients, I will tell them that if you support us, we can also support you. Meaning to say that if you pay us, if we can arrange a way for you to pay us, we can still support you.
Yeah.
And that way, I can also support my suppliers.
That's right. That's right.
And it's a give and take. Though if there's if we are given kapag sa amin na binayaran kami, we will immediately pay our suppliers to ensure
Okay.
that their business will thrive also during the ECQ.
Yes, that's right.
And I think na it's important that we just don't take, that
Mm-hmm.
we also give
Mm.
whatever we have right now. It's like sabi ko nga kay JP, whatever we have, we also know when to give as well, so that everyone that we know of within our circles, at least they thrive as well, most especially our employees, people who help us here in the household, people who help us in the office, our suppliers who are giving us services, even this in the time of ECQ, supported din sila. So that's how I see everything work together just to ensure that yeah, may problem sa may health crisis tayo ngayon, but we have to ensure that everyone is stable,
Okay.
everyone can support each other.
Mm. Yeah. So you've actually listed so many risks that really cut across various aspects of the company, of the organization. Not only are you looking at the legal obligation side of things, you also have to be concerned about the welfare of your own employees as well. So, and that balancing act that you both have mentioned, I mean, this is a very tricky situation that I suppose people like you in your situation would be faced right now in this crisis. So, given that we have all these risks flowing around with the coronavirus crisis, would now be an actually good time for budding entrepreneurs to do their startups?
Uh, they say in stock market, when it's a bear you get money, if it's a bull you get money. Only pigs get slaughtered.
Mhm.
Now, whether entrepreneurs should, uh, you know, start business in this kind of situation, there are still opportunities lying around. Suddenly, a lot of companies that are not really digital, so they can offer online delivery. They can suddenly go for e-commerce immediately. That's an opportunity, and some companies are in need of those services, in need of those platforms for them to enable them in this kind of situation. So to say that, to be, to stay put and do nothing is a bit of underservice to those who want to actually help and do some impact in this situation. It's definitely, there are lots of things that you can do in this situation that can test the resilience of budding entrepreneurs. And I don't want them to be sad about this situation, because I've seen some of my friends started to sell garbage bags. Before they're selling clothes, now they're selling garbage bags. So things like this makes people think creatively. And a lot of companies, even our clients, suddenly become so desperate that they become so creative. So imagine the possibilities that you have in times of desperation. And that's what more for those budding entrepreneurs who are so desperate to do something and I think are capable of doing something. And I don't think that this crisis should be a hindrance for that kind of opportunity. So, sure, if there's any idea, push for it. And let's see, you might be serving an underserved market that after ECQ can be a budding industry as well. So, yeah, I'm a bit optimistic about that.
Okay, great. Well, JP and Leigh, thank you very much for your wonderful insights.
Thank you, Chibi.
Okay,
Chippy, thank you.
yeah. That's JP and Leigh de Guzman of Frost Design Group. If you have any feedback about our show, please email us at ist@uap.asia. I'm Chippy Buenafe, and thanks for tuning in.